From a Christian perspective, well, never mind from a Christian perspective, just look at from the Russian perspective. Kondratiev was a Russian. Lenin commissioned him in 1924 to show great cycles as to the evil of capitalism. He came back and told him that not everything goes down, but not everything goes up either. But everything goes in seasons and cycles. And through the years, these last few hundred years, we've watched these 50-year cycles, which I quite find ironic in terms of the Jubilee process, because in Jubilee, every 50 years, all debts were cancelled, the slaves were set free, the land was returned back to its owners, and the land was left to rest. And this is what happens every 50-odd years. And so we've seen recessions and crashes, and recessions and crashes, recessions and crashes. You can jump on the web and look at this sort of stuff. I was producing some of this material on slides years ago, and everyone was saying to me, 2000, why hasn't the world gone down? Well, we managed to stretch it out a bit longer, but look today. We're watching a crash as epic as any that have occurred before. And when they go down big time, we watch all this hot air that's in these financial programs, all the stuff that's over here. There's the Dow right now, 7758. We watch all this sort of stuff just get absolutely shot to bits. It's this old analogy of swimming the sea with no clothes on. It's okay to look the part with your head above the water, but when that tide goes out, you quickly start seeing who's actually left exposed. So there's this great rebalancing occurring in the world. And in history, people with gold have been able to buy entire buildings. Entire buildings. I've listened to many stories from old codgers about back in 1929 buying what today, I know one story I was listening to just the other week on the shores of Lake Michigan, some flash, I haven't ever been there, my wife has. That's the equivalent of our Paratide Drive, buying some flash properties for a couple of ounces of gold, a couple of ounces of gold. You can't laugh about what gold will do at the height of the depth. Because in history, we watch these Jubilee or Kondratiev wave or 50-year cycles happen every single time. So, obviously we've got a lot of things happening in the world. I give a couple of examples about, there's nothing new under the sun, said Solomon, is there? Back there in 1816, the speculative land bubble had been in full swing, accessed by easy credit. Out west, land speculators would buy up huge tracts, putting down just 25%, then they would turn around and sell it to the settlers, flippers. Put a little bit down, wait for the settlers to come in, flip it on for a whole lot more money. Nothing new in the world. And so, crashes through history and the Civil War. Every time you end up having wars. It's a frightening thing that wars always happen generally in the spring. So you go through the misery, you get the arch enemies of, which is quite concerning from a biblical point of view when you think of, just to digress for a second here, when you talk about 6,000 years of history or God's great week. As I said, I'm digressing a little bit, but I find it quite interesting that Genesis says man's days shall be 120 years, and here we've had our 120 jubilees, and what sort of thing happens out of a war or a crisis as we go into our next, at the end of our 120 jubilees, our 6,000 years. It's quite interesting to sort of go down that route, but that's not for the purpose of tonight. There's been a lot of similarities between what we've done in 1929. The Fed reduced from 6% to 1% back then. Greenspan did exactly the same thing. What he did was he made money so cheap and so easy and so free, it causes massive speculation. Back then it was in the share market, today it's been in the property market. And so we go on. I'll leave it there because I'm going to lose you all. But I just wanted to give you a bit of an understanding on gold, seasons, cycles, the times we live in, from a number of perspectives, because in the following JWS stuff, I just want to give a brief introduction as to how you can actually receive every month one of these gold coin. It's a little 1/10 ounce gold coin, and feel free to have a look at it. There's a gold coin up there. I prefer it to stay here, please. These are our JWS coins that you get sent to you in the mail every month, and we will just take a little break and then come back to this. I don't wish to labour JWS, but I do want to at least give you the information necessary so that if you're really wanting to follow it through, you can go online yourself. The entire site is something you can look at your own leisure. Questions and answers can be levelled at Andrew and Christine or myself, and essentially Joseph Wealth System allows you to save a gold coin every month, saving something that is actually going up in value, and you can earn an income from it by inviting other people to do the same, and that effectively becomes like a downline. I have never represented MLM, multi-level marketing things. I was there at the birth of Amway in '84. I watched everybody in a room much larger than this going like Pavlov's dogs, and I just could not get inspired because I couldn't get excited about the thing that they were doing. The thing with gold is that because I know where we are in history, whether I'm wearing my Anglo cap as just a bullion broker or whether I'm wearing my JWS cap, I don't feel I'm selling somebody a piece of plastic, a pot of goo, a voucher, whatever that people are about in MLMs, that it will make lots of money. It never does. It all wears out. At the end of the day, if someone walks into me 6 months, 8 months, a year later who got into it and then walked out of it, I can say, but at least you've got your, oh, and it's worth more too. So I haven't felt like I've ripped anybody off. I have to do something with a degree of integrity. So to that degree, being part of this MLM, which is the first thing I've ever been involved with in my life like it, at least I'm part of something that allows anybody to get into it. I'm doing a presentation today, but you don't have to do presentations to invite people into this. Everything is on the web. You have your own website, and there's downloads that people can click into, and it's a very simple process. I'm giving you a bit of an overview more from the gold side of things as well. So we'll just take a couple of minutes break,